Welcome. You're listening to Grow With Me, a podcast and creative project from Garza Consulting. I'm Lisette Garza, an ICF coach and an organizational development consultant who works with thoughtful leaders, creatives, and change makers, especially those standing at a crossroads, asking deeper questions about who they are, how they show up in the world, and maybe even rethinking their sense of purpose. Each episode is a short coaching session, an open moment between two people where something meaningful is being worked through in real time. Whether you're listening, learning, or imagining yourself in the guest seat, you are a part of this, and I'm glad you're here. Thanks for listening. Let's grow. Welcome to Grow With Me. Today, I'm inviting you into the arc of a coaching conversation with Carlos, who came in with a gentle but powerful intention. So let's begin. What would feel meaningful to walk away with by the end of our time together?
Um, I think the biggest thing or the thing like the most meaningful thing that I could get out of our conversation would be a sense of purpose. I think it's the biggest, probably one of the biggest questions we can ask ourselves as human beings, but having some sense of purpose into like adding some purpose into what I do every day would be lovely.
He named what so many of us long for: to feel a clearer sense of purpose woven into the everyday, which is what we'll be focusing on today. In this episode, you'll hear other selected moments from our session. After each clip, I'll be reflecting on the coaching process in order to understand my approach a little more deeply, while also highlighting Carlos's story and his work in defining his purpose. My hope is that you, our listener, will not only take in his story, but that you also create the space to reflect on your own journey. Adding some purpose into what you do every day would be lovely. Um, why is that important?
Well, because I have been working for the last 12 years now nonstop. I mean, holidays here and there, but there's been no major break. And I feel like it's a lot of time, it's a lot of hours. Being able to do this without a purpose feels like a waste in some sort of way. So yeah, and having the ability to think that what I do matters makes everything much, much more relevant to me.
So to having the ability to feel that everything you do matters. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. To a certain extent, I'm not planning on changing the world, but
Yeah. Yeah, and that actually my question is related to that. What does mattering mean to you?
yeah, well, that's a trick. I think, well, I've been reflecting about this the last weeks, and I would say that what I'm searching for the most is my own intrinsic motivation, but not just necessarily motivation, but purpose, right? I've been in conversations with some people during these weeks, and I feel like there's a certain aspect, and I know this is a not a great word to bring, but I feel like I have what I call a semi-depression, a professional, I'm professionally semi-depressive, depressed. What do I mean by that? I mean that I don't necessarily connect with the value that I bring. And so when you ask about the word matter, I think the real answer to that is that I need it to matter to me. I can see that some of the stuff I do matters to other people, and I do get appreciation and I do get recognition and praise and positive feedback, but I'm not necessarily connecting myself with the value that I might be given to others. Does that make any sense? It makes sense to me, but
This was an honest moment, He wasn't saying that others don't see his impact. He was naming something harder, that even when people affirm him, he struggles to feel connected to it. The fact that he could articulate the gap between external recognition and internal resonance showed me that he was willing to look at it a little deeper.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it all boils down to the fact that I my job is quite corporate, and therefore the people that I am um, positively influencing are within this corporate world. And so, from a much deeper level, even though they might be appreciative of the support that I give and yada yada, it's still the corporate world, and it's still a world that I don't necessarily believe in. So I don't feel like I'm transforming people's lives. I feel like I'm just helping them navigate and stay afloat in a corporate environment.
So you sort of said at a deeper level, um, almost as if like at the end of the day, I work for a corporation. You talked about not necessarily transforming people's lives, but just helping them navigate and stay afloat. And when you say people or they, who exactly are you referring to?
Well, I would say mostly, I mean, for the vast majority of these people are people that are, so I'm in a middle management position, and I have been both a manager to direct reports, but also a manager within an organization. So I help people that are less senior navigate the complexities of the business.
Yes, and so is that in a mentorship capacity?
Yeah, yeah, you could call it so. Yes. For the most part, it's mostly mentoring other people, and that's where I get a bit of a kick out of what I do, right? The rest of it is mostly presentations, reports, talking to upper management and things like that.
So you work in a corporate environment, and you've said that you don't believe you're transforming people's lives. You're just helping them navigate and stay afloat. And the people you're referring to are these people that are less senior. And then we sort of specified that you maybe serve in a mentorship role to them. Is that right? Just want to make sure. And then you said that this mentoring process is what really gives you a kick, which I imagine you're meaning like it kind of gives you energy.
Yes, and in the sense of being able to see the value, that we were talking about before. Some of the value that I might be bringing is through the conversations with these people.
Oh, I like that. And so when we were talking earlier about how you connect to the value you bring to your work, how you connect and don't connect. In the case of mentorship, would you say that you connect more to that value that exists there?
Yes, yes. I mean, it's the thing I connect to the most in the environment that I am in right now. I don't have a huge connection with the product. The company mission is not a mission that I generally believe in. And to be very frank, I just think that mostly it all comes down to money. And I am growing or have grown bored of the concept of money as the thing to pursue. I would like to think that I believe that there's more to our experience and to us being here than just trying to make as much money as we can every year.
So you believing that there's more to your experience. What could that be?
Well, I guess it's bettering. I mean, it sounds very big, but bettering our society, improving who we are, improving the lives of people, and therefore improving our understanding of ourselves, our understanding of the society, and being able to contribute to a healthier society. I would love to see that happening.
And why do you laugh when you say that?
Oh, because I think I'm daydreaming a bit. I mean, especially the current circumstances don't make it very clear that we're heading towards an improvement of society, but rather the opposite. Feels like the world's much more polarized and all these kind of things.
Yeah, so you think it's when you say daydream, do you think does that mean it's impossible?
Well, I think it's possible, but I don't think I definitely think it's possible. I just don't think the current we don't have the right people and we don't have the right approach right now in general, and also that translates into every other layer of our society.
He voiced a longing to contribute to a better world and then immediately dismissed it. But what matters here is that the vision had surfaced at all. So, bettering our society, improving the lives of people, improving oneself, and understanding others, and being able to contribute to a healthier society. How does that sound hearing it back?
Um, it sounds like daydreaming. It sounds like you're aiming too high. That's what I would say to the person saying that. I'd be like, why don't you just learn how to appreciate the good things that you definitely have right now and basically just sort of lower your expectations on life. But I have tried this. I keep trying this and it doesn't seem to work. I just keep, it's just a patch after a patch after a patch. Sometimes I think, oh, maybe I should, change jobs. And I'm like, well, that's yet another patch. Maybe I should move somewhere else and start a new job in a different company in a different part of the world. And it's like, yeah, but because the novelty effect will last for a bit and I'll be motivated until I'm not anymore.
So here he goes from macro to micro and wondering what his response should be. He's trying different things to appreciate what he has, but none seem to be working. We continue talking about his current work in progress and bettering others in his own community, including the workplace.
Yeah, I think from a deeper level, I had the realization not that long ago that I was working the career my parents maybe wanted me to work for many, many years. And now I've sort of succeeded at it. Um, and my parents are not around anymore. So now it comes down to what do I want to do? How do I want to approach my own career? And that's such a difficult question because up until here, you were given a path, right? So, what do you want to study? Okay. What kind of jobs can you get in that field? Okay. Keep growing, grind, sort of climb the ladder. But then these more existential questions started coming to me, and then it's like, well, is this really it? Is the next step a promotion? And then the next step, another promotion, and then another promotion. And there isn't much feeding the soul right now.
So when you talk about, the things that maybe give you more energy, the things that maybe make you feel more connected, you talked earlier about improving society, improving lives. If you were to think about, that idea, so improving lives, improving society, let's just leave it at that. If you were to think about yourself and what you currently do at work, even outside of work, think about a scale from 0 to 10, and it's measuring how much you're improving society and the lives of others. 0 meaning you're not doing anything, and 10 meaning you're there. You're bringing a lot of improvement to society and others. Where on the scale would you see yourself?
Interesting question. I think I was oscillating as you were as you were asking the question. Um, but if I in this moment of time, and as I mentioned with days, I labeled it a semi-depressed professional life. I'm a bit of a pessimist right now, so I would probably put it on a three. And I know that my partner, my friends would probably disagree with that. But if we're talking society wise, I don't think I am giving it as much as I could. And I make myself accountable for that. I think I'm not, I think I can give much more, but I have sort of developed this feeling of this sort of nihilism that makes me think, well, what's the point?
Oh, you make me think about something. Maybe I shouldn't improving society and the lives of people together. Would your score change if we just focus on the lives of others?
Yeah, yeah, on the lives of the people that are around me. Yeah, well then for sure it would change. I think the score there would be probably I would probably put it around the seven. But I think everybody goes so fast and everybody goes is so absent. I don't know if it's absent-minded is the right word because I think their minds are on it. I think they're absent-hearted, if that makes sense. People are putting all their minds into navigating lives, but I feel like they're leaving their hearts behind. And I think I could help more from that angle than what I currently do. I think a lot of, everyone's sort of just thinking, what's the best possibility right now? I'm in this situation. And I think we have forgotten, myself very much included, think about what we want rather than what we should. Um, so I don't think I do enough of bringing that reflection into the room.
What is a reflection again?
Well, say for example, I'll use an actual example. My brother, he has been pursuing a job for a long time and he actually got it now. And instead of being happy about the fact that he had the job, he's like, well, but the previous company owes me certain holiday days and they're not willing to give them to me. And the new company, which was something that again he was pursuing for over 10 years, they don't want me, like they're saying this and they're saying that, and it's all like very complicated and I kind of want to go and say, look, you got the job, you got the thing, you wanted this so badly. And whenever I bring it, his response is like, yeah, yeah, I know, but it's not, and it's not working as I thought it would. And so I think it's a level of unhappiness that just basically doesn't help anybody. And I wish I could help him, to use the example, from that angle to help him realize that now he can just relax. He made it.
Why is it important to you to help them?
Well, I don't know. I guess why is it important to me to help him? On one hand, I kind of want to say it isn't because I don't think I'm doing it, but on the other hand, I think about it, therefore it is. And I think it's important for me because I want to see him shine, right? I feel like he is not enjoying life as much as he could. I was going to say he is not the best version of himself, but I would rather say that I don't think he's enjoying life as much as he could. And he could just sit for a while and be like, okay, well, this is fantastic. Then, I think his life would be nicer if he was able to do that.
Why is it important to you? If he did do that, what would change for you?
Yeah. Well, I think he would be a lovelier person to be around.
Yeah.
So that's how I would probably benefit from it. I would have a more caring brother and a brother that is less worried about doing the right thing, so to say.
So besides him being more pleasant to be around, how would it make you feel to have helped them get to that point?
Well, it would have made me feel fulfilled. Yeah. Don't know if, yeah, it would have made me feel fulfilled.
So going back to the scale, you said you were at a 7, and I imagine that the way that you talk about your brother, you probably have this. I'm assuming, the same level of care and concern for other people around you. Would that be a safe assumption?
Yes.
And would that include the people in your office, like the less senior folks?
No, I would, I think because of the company culture that I have, um, that the company has, I don't see them. There's not a level of connection. We're more peers and professionals than we are people, I would say. So therefore, the connection levels are lesser.
But when you say improving the lives of others, then you have a specific group in mind then.
Well, I mean, it's mostly the people I interact with, right? It can be all the way down from playing a match, like a tennis match, and talking to my opponent and having a conversation about competition and healthier versions of it. That is a purpose. That is an example, and it can go all the way down to the level of my family or yeah, my loved ones, so to say.
For the scale question on improving society and others, he initially gave himself a 3, but when we separated society from the lives of those around him, his score jumped to a 7. That shift opened up something tender. He began talking about his brother and how much he wished he could help him feel joy, rest, and contentment after finally achieving something he had wanted for a long time. What stood out to me wasn't just his care for others, it was the way he reflected on his desire to bring heart back into conversations that too often feel transactional. And yet, he also recognized that in certain spaces, like his workplace, that level of connection feels harder to access. See, so it's more about so to me it sounds like, and tell me if this is correct, in how you interact with people. So not necessarily being in a formal role, but you just want to bring this positivity to others in your interactions. Am I close to maybe what?
No, yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes. No, it is correct. And then when it comes back, like going back to the work setup, I have been told that I am a very compassionate and kind leader, and that I bring a type of leadership that, and I quote others, that, the world needs more of. But then when navigating the internal politics and internal ways of working, I don't feel like that's my mission. I don't feel like that's something that I can hold on to and maintain as I'm navigating different meetings and conversations with people. Whenever I get promoted, there's certain people that are very happy that I did, and they're sort of rooting for me. But I don't feel like I have it in me to be the ambassador of a different style of management.
This moment surfaced the tension between who he is, how he leads, and the environment he's in. He was seen by others, affirmed, told that his leadership and the care and kindness he brought mattered. The deeper wish here was that the care and kindness he offers might ripple outward, that his way of leading could help shape a culture where those values are truly mirrored. earlier in our conversation, you said that you want to walk away from this with a sense of purpose, if I remember correctly. I'm checking my notes.
Yes.
Um, or adding some purpose. I think you said that, or intrinsic motivation. Um, Tell me, when you think about this goal that you have, and just reflecting on our conversation so far, what has been helpful? Do you feel like your you have a thread maybe that you could start thinking about when you think about purpose?
Yeah. I mean, this thing that I just mentioned, for example, but it's so like I'm trying to there's this book called Drive, which maybe you're familiar with about motivation. I think it's from someone called Daniel Pink, and Daniel Pink talks about motivation 3.0, which is the modern drivers of motivation, and refers to intrinsic motivation and talks about three components: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. So in that regard, I know that I have the level of autonomy. I feel like I have achieved the mastery of my current position. I would say so. But I don't have a purpose. Like the level of purpose is just not even there. And so I can't keep myself motivated because I don't have a purpose. So from that perspective and the threat that you were talking about, if I was able to see the purpose in what I just mentioned about being able to provide a kinder leadership, for example, that would be something to hold on to. That makes me go to work every day and think, okay, I have a mission and I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that I can bring more kindness into certain rooms. And yeah, that's a threat to answer your question.
I'm a little confused. You said that your
Mhm.
colleagues, folks at work, they already say you're a compassionate and kind leader, right? So it sounds like you are already kind, right? At work, you're a kind leader.
Yes, but I wouldn't say that I'm changing the organizations
Oh, I see.
to become that.
To impact, to change the culture there.
Correct.
Do
I mean, I
you?
am responsible for the culture in our department, and I do provide workshops and different things. But I wouldn't say that I am driving it. I wouldn't say that there's a major change in culture towards a kinder style of communication or interaction between us.
Okay. So you said you sort of said maybe, my mission is to bring a kinder leadership to my org. And then it sounds like you're known for being kind, but then you said you feel as if that there isn't, and please correct me, there isn't a change in culture, you're not driving it. So my question to you is, do you want to drive it?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, a very clear yes. I would like to, but under my current circumstances, at the end of the day, I mean, the majority of the orgs that I know and the majority of the orgs that I've been part of are very much dictated by the upper management, so top down. And so as much as I have the ability to do things, I don't have the feeling going back to Daniel Pink's
Mm-hmm.
point. I don't have the autonomy. I have the autonomy to manage my work, but I don't have the autonomy to dictate what my work looks like.
Mm.
I cannot like so for example in my current role I am responsible for the department's culture. So theoretically, if I'm responsible for the department's culture and I want to have a kinder culture, I should be able to implement it. However, the reality of that is that there's a lot of aspects of it that are actually not under my control. I can propose and I can do stuff, But then you meet all these beliefs of, oh, okay, yeah, that's a great idea, but let's take things slowly, or let me run it by the next layer of management, and after many years, you just start losing the drive.
If we were to think about that scale now in this context, as a in your role of like being in charge of culture, from 0 to 10, how much do you feel that you are driving the culture of kindness?
I would say it's a 3, 4. I wouldn't dare put it above the 5. And it's funny because I have been told that I am like, oh, like, you're the soul of the department. We're so appreciative of what you do. But I think I'm too close to the top to connect with that message.
Close to the top. What does that mean?
Well, close to the thing I was referring to before, that it's all just about making money, right? So I have become very cynical because I believe that culture, the purpose of our culture or of any company's department's culture, at least in corporate, is to ensure people provide the most value back and that people are performing as much as they can. That doesn't resonate very much with kindness. I don't think kindness is take a day off here and there when you really need it. I think kindness is take as much time as you want because we trust that you will take just that, the time that you want, and that you will come back. So it's difficult for me because I believe that very often what we consider culture is just how can we make sure that everyone's doing as much as we need them to do.
Even when others describe him as a kind, compassionate leader, someone who brings what the world needs more of, he struggles to hold on to that truth within the realities of his workplace. And it leads him to wonder if he could really be the ambassador of a different style of management in a place that doesn't share it. I stayed with his words and gave them space to land. In coaching, the most powerful thing we can offer is presence. So you sort of want it to be a place where people feel trusted, um, and that it's not just about taking a few days here and there, but them having free range and deciding and not worrying about having to come back um, before they're ready. I'm imagining. So you think that is what that's how you're defining what a culture of kindness would be, is just having this trust in the people and that they're doing
Yes.
right by themselves and right by the org.
Yes, trust is the word. And I'm not saying it's a culture where everybody's automatically trusted. I had a manager once that I really liked working with who said, trust is going to be my default unless I'm proven wrong. And I like that approach. So to me, it's the adult type of relationship in which, you're an adult, you're an employee, you've made it here because you have the right intelligence, the right skills. Off you go. Off you go. Let us know how we can support you. This is our mission. This is our goal. Go figure. That's always been my approach and my style. But the truth is, in the complexity of the corporate world, there's a lot of people that don't see things that way, and they want to control what's going on, how it's going on. And I think that's a killer of trust. Control is a killer of trust.
But following this thread that we started talking about, where how are you feeling now about our initial goal of defining your purpose, and the conversation where it's taking us?
Well, I think it was clarifying to a certain extent because realizing Like if I'm able to zoom out, realizing the paths that I take throughout these questions makes me think about what's important to me and what isn't. Right? I could have taken a million others. I could have talked about efficiency. I could have talked about, I don't know, the latter, or having more power, or being more. But I went towards culture and kindness, and so I think I need to try to create. I think the next step for me after this conversation is to try and create more spaces where that's present as a starting point.
And it's just to kind of get you thinking in that direction. When we go back to the scale, the most recent one about, how much are you bringing kindness or creating that culture of kindness in your workplace? You said you were at a 3 or 4. If we were just to think about what would take you to a 5, what would need to happen to get there?
I think it would. I think I would have to have a closer relationship with people, basically, to keep it simple. I think right now I have these conversations, this mentoring conversations, and off they go, and there isn't much of a constant relationship. Therefore, the disconnect keeps happening, right? It's a conversation, see you again in a month. But then what happened in that month? That's a long time now. With remote working and all the other things, it is much more complicated to keep connected. I think if I could see the results of these conversations in the day to day, or maybe in the week to week, I would be able to take it up to a 5 at least, because I would see the influence.
And how would you ensure that that happens more, this connecting more in between your meetings? How would you
I
make that
think
happen?
coinciding in the office with these people more often. So making sure that there is we're present in the same space, and then if not, via like having online calls more regularly, even if it's just a quick catch up. Maybe it doesn't even need to be a call, but at least a quick message, asking if everything's fine or how the week went. I think that would help. Right now, it's just a conversation, wait a month conversation. I feel like that doesn't help me feel connected as much.
Right. And what would indicate to you that you have built a closer relationship with these people?
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's hard to measure, no? Like it's always in the world I come from, it's very how do you measure success? What KPIs, what metrics are you going to be looking into? This is people, right? And that's why I love this field so much because it cannot be measured. Like you can't measure the spark on someone's eyes. So I would probably say that it's just quality feedback, hearing from them and I have to do an exercise which I continue to struggle with, which is the exercise of taking it in. So when someone says, as like I don't know, last week I heard this from someone that said, "You have no idea how much this conversation has helped me." I need to be able to take that in instead of being dismissive of it.
While the conversation continued a bit beyond this point, I've chosen to end it here because this is where something shifted, not in answers, but in awareness. And that felt like a meaningful place to leave space. Looking back, what I keep returning to is how much of this session is circled around connection, connection to purpose, to others, and to self. Carlos came in searching for purpose, but what emerged was the possibility that purpose was already present in the way he mentors others, in how he leads with care, in his desire to create spaces where people feel seen and whole. At one point, he even said, if I was able to see the purpose in providing a kinder leadership, that would be something to hold on to. And a special thanks to Carlos for showing up so openly and honestly for this conversation. And to our listeners, thanks for listening. Today's conversation was just one coaching session with someone I'd only just met. In a longer coaching engagement, we'd meet over several sessions to go deeper. If you are interested in working with me as a coach or consultant, you can learn more at garza.consulting. And if you want to keep growing with me, join my Substack at growwithlisette.substack.com. Thank you for growing with me. Talk soon.